Welcome to the President's Desk, simulcast on 96.9 FM KGPC and Peralta Television, where Laney College President Dr. Rudy Besikoff speaks with community members, colleagues, and student leaders. This program is supported by Technical Director Felicia Bridges, who co-hosts along with Laney College President, along with Laney College Journalism major Randy Cross, and Laney College President, Dr. Rudy Besikoff.
Pull up a chair and join me and Felicia at the President's Desk today for episode number 53 as we welcome Cubert recruiter and Laney College partner Joe Fotu. The show airs at 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. on FM 96.9 KGPC and live also at kgpc969.org each Wednesday and can be seen on Sundays from 1 to 2 p.m. on Peralta TV. Can't catch us then? No problem. All our episodes are available anytime and on demand at kgpc969.org, along with other great Peralta programming. And as always, we can be heard on Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio. Do you want to interact with the show? Well, you can email us at laneypodcast@peralta.edu. Like us on Facebook at Laney College President's Desk Podcast, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Laney Podcast. You can also find select interviews and content from the show on YouTube by subscribing to the Laney College President's Desk channel. I'm Rudy Besikoff, proud president of Laney College, a pillar that has been serving the greater Oakland community since 1927 and has been known as Laney for more than 65 years, and where college has been free since fall semester 2022. Like so many things with the president's office, my work is the result of a great team. In addition to co-hosts Felicia and Randy's not with us today, Arlene Lawn Talk books guests for the show for us, with Raya Zion joining us as a show contributor and occasional in-studio guest. But getting things kicked off always is the guru of music, and we'll touch on that later, who always keeps us guessing when it comes to the music played on the show, Felicia Bridges. Felicia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Rudy. How are you?
All right, we'll get back to that music part in just a minute. But joining us virtually, but always close by for our regular Partners of Laney feature is Raya Zion, who will acquaint our listeners with one great industry partner who offers internships or other opportunities for students, as well as on-campus opportunities. Raya, how are you?
Hi, Raya.
Hey, Felicia, how's it going?
Going great.
Hey, Joe, how's it going?
It's going well, Ryan.
All
How are
right.
you?
Okay. Anyway, what do you have for us today, Raya?
Let me tell you, I'm really excited about two things. Number one, Kaiser is actively recruiting right now for their summer internship, and it's called KP Launch. They're doing a presentation on site at Laney next week, but will continue recruiting through the beginning of October. So if anyone's interested in any of the Peralta campuses, not just Laney College, if any of the Peralta campuses is listening right now, we put out the word for everyone to contact me at rzion@peralta.edu if they would like to be connected to Kaiser. And Kaiser is recruiting interns for operational skill sets. So office administration, computer science, accounting, it'll be in their administrative offices.
Wow, that sounds like a broad spectrum of opportunities, doesn't it, Raya?
Yes, and it's a paid internship. So it pays between $20 to $24 an hour for the summer.
Wow.
So it's really exciting. And they do several career readiness workshops. And it's a good way actually to let the recruiters at Kaiser know that you're interested in working for them.
So they're recruiting early, way early for the summer. Okay.
Yeah, because what they do is once they settle on the interns, usually around January, they will do some workshops for those interns leading up to the summer internship.
Raya, this is going to be a unique opportunity in that it's an opportunity for our students to potentially enter the healthcare industry, especially with a big organization like Kaiser. any great winning piece of advice you might give to someone who's a potential applicant for a group like Kaiser?
Kaiser is a very professional organization. So I would encourage everyone to have me review their resumes, and I'll gladly send links out to those interested to apply. But with Kaiser specifically, they take professionalism very seriously
Right.
in the hospital. So put on your best game when you talk to Kaiser.
All right. Excellent. Raya, thank you as always. I know you have a busy day today. Appreciate you stopping by the show.
Thank you.
One more thing.
Oh, you have
Go ahead. Go ahead.
One more thing. We're putting on a special evening manufacturing event, which, Joe's company would love to attend as well. And I'll tell Joe about it a little later. But it is going to be on October 11th, Manufacturing Month, and we're going to have an evening event. So our shops will be open for people to tour the shops in the evening. A lot of people work during the daytime, or maybe students want to bring parents along. We're going to have a panel discussion about manufacturing in the East Bay, and then showcase our tiny home, because our tiny home is going to be donated to a nonprofit at the end of October. So they could come and look at the tiny home and learn about how it was built, and then tour our shops. So that's October 11th from 5 p.m. till about 8:30 p.m.
And just so you know, Raya, I will be there on the 11th at 5 p.m.
That's exciting.
Excellent. Well, listen, again, thank you as always. I know you have a busy day today and appreciate you for stopping by.
Thank you.
care.
Take care.
Take care.
Now, let's go ahead and before we welcome in our guest, let's go ahead and talk about that music thing I teased a little bit earlier. So, Felicia, I gotta ask you. It's always fun to listen when the show airs once after we record, because you put in a lot of music.
Yes, I do.
And the last time, for the last one that aired, which was episode 50, you actually chose "Break On Through" by The Doors. So I guess my question to you is, what goes into your music selections?
So I try to pick up on a theme of our shows. So, for example, if we're talking about building or food, for example, we had a show where we talked about building. I just put in a song that kind of correlates to that. So I chose "We Built This City,"
That's right. I remember that.
and
Starship.
that particular episode with the Doors. We were talking about the Doors that day, and I
That's
thought,
right.
oh, that would be a good addition.
And fortunately, what did not make air was I tried to sing one of the Jim Morrison songs. And
Right.
yeah, that was, I'm glad that didn't happen. But
I-
all right, speaking of the Doors, though, I got to bring in a little music knowledge for you. So we have the Doors, "Break On Through," Jim Morrison, and why in the world would I play this?
In the beginning, I believed every word that you said. Now that you're gone, my world's in shreds. Oh, you left
Okay, that's a little snippet of a song called "Silver, Blue, and Gold" by Bad Company.
oh my gosh.
And
Okay.
so why would I start a conversation about the Doors and then play Bad Company? Anybody want to take a stab at that one? Joe Fotu, our guest, you're welcome to take $1 million swing if you'd like.
Oh man, you're gonna have to enlighten me on that one.
Right. Well, me as well.
Okay,
Like,
so one of the
me as
most
well.
famous deceased lead singers in history is Jim Morrison. I think you both would agree. So after he died, Paul Rogers, who is the lead singer of Bad Company, he also was lead singer of a group called The Firm, as well as Free. Ray Manzarek and the other members of the Doors actually went to Paul Rogers and asked if he'd be willing to take Jim Morrison's place. And he turned it down. He said, "No, thank you."
Yeah, I
So-
would have turned that one down.
So anyway, I don't know if we'll be hearing more Doors today during the show, hint, hint. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that bit
That's
of
a
knowledge.
possibility. That's a
So,
possibility.
Anyway, all right. So seamless transition as we welcome in from Cubert, Mr. Joe Fotu. Joe, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me.
All right. It's okay to call you Joe?
Yes.
All right. So tell us a little bit about Cubert. Let's just start right off the bat there.
Sure. Cubert is a advanced battery tech company that specializes in development and advanced lithium metal batteries, primarily focusing on aviation. Um, we what I do there, I help find talent that specialize in certain skills, in the battery space, and help hire them and help them come in and help us build the company from the ground up.
Wow, that's amazing. And could you tell us a little more about your role?
Yeah, so yeah, my role as a recruiter there, again, I specialize in finding talent that comes in, and whether that's from engineers to scientists to technicians to production technicians that help assemble the batteries, everything kind of in between, and help them get hired at Cubert. But that's what I do. I find the talent, I get them screened, I get them talking to all of our hiring managers, make sure they're a right fit for the company, and get them get them placed there at Cubert.
All right. Before the show, you were asking me where I get my coffee. So I want to actually go start with the morning cup of coffee. Could you just walk us through a typical day that you have as a recruiter?
Sure. At Cubert, it's we're a startup, so it's not your average punch in and punch out every day. You come in and some things could change any minute, any day. So kind of just how my day goes. I come in, I check off, of course, I'll check all my emails. I see what response I have from candidates that I haven't processed, but we sync up with our hiring managers, see what's hot right now as far as Rex that's ready to be recruited for, and again, it's a everlasting changing environment every single day. So you're always expecting something different, but again. Majority of my day is out reaching out to candidates, screening them, making sure they're a good fit culturally as we recruit for culture, number one, and then the technical part takes care of itself. But it's definitely involving a lot of candidate screens.
What do you mean recruiting for culture?
So yeah, it's our culture, and not to go too in depth, but we're looking for people that's genuine. One of our core values that we hold dear is at Kuberg is humility. We're looking for folks that's humble, that's hardworking, people that come in with no excuses, but come in with their head down and just working. So if you have those core values of being humble, hardworking person, and genuine and kind, and everything else will take care of itself. But that's the type of culture that we have at Kuberg, and that's what we're looking for.
Joe, I have a question in regards to aerospace industry. What exactly are can you explain that, please?
Yeah. So, we have folks, that we recruit for that's been in the aerospace industry, with NASA. I mean, again, there's certain things that I can't speak of too much, but folks that's been in that aerospace industry that has those special skill sets, in that industry. We find that very compatible with what we're looking for at Cubert for certain roles. Again, we have roles that you know again in for battery engineers, scientists that again correlates with the aerospace world in there. So when we're looking for folks that has certain keywords from the aerospace industry, that's kind of a green light for us to kind of attack them and kind of just probing a little bit more into their to their works.
Okay, I'm still trying to get a little bit more specific. For example, are you creating batteries that power the control panels in airplanes? Are you working in spaceships with spaceships?
Gotcha.
Uh,
Yeah, no, good question. So, we're not that advanced, to working with spaceships yet, but I know our primary focus is airplanes. eVTOLs and ECTOLs. I'm sure you guys have seen some of those aircrafts that have like two propellers in there,
Sure.
but also that's what we're powering is those big airplanes, aviation there with those eVTOLs, ECTOLs. But again, those are our primary focus. But again, the spacecrafts, though, that's a little too advanced for us right now. But our batteries, we offer longer higher energy density, longer lasting performances that that's a lot lighter in aircrafts or even automobiles. We still work with cars and vehicles, and but our primary focus is the aviation industry there. So but that's what we
okay,
power. Yeah.
That's
okay.
amazing. And you mentioned the two propellers, and Alicia and Joe, you haven't lived until you've ridden in a 15 to 17 passenger double propeller kind of, they call them the puddle jumper airplanes.
Puddle
Um,
jumpers.
I mean,
especially if it's not sunny outside. Though that's quite a ride.
one of these days, I know that's again, we have customers and clients that they make the product, they make those planes, and we're supplying those batteries, those lithium metal modules and
Wow.
batteries out there. And so hopefully one of these days I get to ride in one of those. And yeah,
No, it's
one,
fun though. At the end of the day, I'll assure you of that. So, a lot of our listeners are students who are kicking the tires on possible careers. What would you advise someone who's maybe looking at being a recruiter, not necessarily for your company, but just to be a recruiter, just in the human resources field?
for sure. As a recruiter, you have to be a personable, have interpersonal skills, be able to, carry conversations and just be able to relate to someone. So, I think also having the attention span of like, keeping those conversations going and related to that person. But I think, if you're kind, you're respectable, you're respectful. I think, recruiting is it's not as hard as people think it is, and I think it's just kind of the same thing with everything. It's having reps and having those conversations.
Great to be welcoming Joe Fotu from Cubert at the President's Desk, heard right here on 96.9 FM KGPC and at kgpc969.org. How has the work of recruiting changed over the past couple of years? Certainly our society's changed for, over the past four. How's it changed?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I'm sure a lot of recruiters could vouch for this, but since the pandemic, a lot of things has changed. In the recruiting world, as far as like, hiring remotely. A lot of folks are working remotely now. Also, virtual interviews, virtual assessments as well from our hiring managers and recruiters. But again, also ATS systems that we use. That's an application tracking system that we have. AI being built into those systems that help kind of sort out, candidates. When they apply onto our our roles. We have like an AI that's kind of built into to this application tracking system that kind of sorts out like who's a good fit for certain roles. Based off like their resumes and the wordings on there, and so that kind of helps us, recruiters kind of funnel through certain applicants, that we think that will be a good fit for the roles, and then we come across them and we see them and we're like, okay, this person is good, and we'll share them with hiring managers, and if the hiring managers like them, then we'll start the whole candidacy process with recruiting there. So
Excellent. Well, Joe, Felicia, and our listeners and I just smiled as you mentioned AI, because it seems like on every episode of the President's Desk, AI comes up as a topic, and Felicia always has questions for our guests about AI. So I am turning my head to Felicia.
I certainly do. Because I'm just, AI is the leading technology that's going to be ruling the world, so to speak. And I'm curious, with the ATS system, is it picking out keywords? Is it looking at the college and university it's going to? What kind of things is this technology picking up on to help you sort out candidates?
for sure. Good question. And really, like our tracking systems that we use, again, we our company, we like to stay away from using AI. We do everything authentic, and but just the tracking systems that we use, it already has or has the AI built into it, but it tracks certain keywords. When we have a job description that's posted up on all of our platforms, there's certain keywords on there that the AI kind of matches with candidates' resume that they may catch and be like, hey, this candidate has all these certain keywords. They may be a good fit, and it'll kind of put them at the top of that tracking system, and we'll be able to kind of see who's coming in. But again, our job is still to kind of go through those resumes. Even though it's kind of funneling and putting in the top resumes with a lot of keywords and even positions that's tied to the role that we have up. We'll still need to kind of go through it and kind of skim through those resumes, screen them, and see if this is a good fit for for the role. And again, we still got to go through a whole process of speaking to the hiring manager, having those technical calls. Are they good fit? But yeah, some folks they could draft up a nice resume, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have to talk about what you've done in your past experience with any hiring manager. So you can't get away, if you're just
Sure.
making a nice resume out there. You can't get away for too long because at the end of the day, you're gonna get screened.
Yeah.
Hiring managers are gonna probe into your past experience. So
Current Laney College students, if they're interested in working in this field of aerospace and then also technology and sustainable energy, obviously with batteries and such, what do you think is a good degree perhaps to pursue as an associate's, and then what would be later on to, as they work toward a bachelor's degree, perhaps? What obviously aerospace engineering seems like a possible, but what are some other fields that applicants typically major in that where you see them coming through as a successful candidate?
sure. I mean, it depends, because just like in any company, there's so many different positions, right? You have, scientists where chemistry could be a good degree to have, and but also we have production technicians where you don't where you don't even need a degree, right? And so that's why we come to Laney to find folks that likes to be hands on, that likes to build things. We'll have apprenticeships programs that we're building right now, but again, chemistry, math, science, um, biochemistry, a lot of those, that's in their aerospace, but it could range from all different fields, but those are kind of some of the main ones that we come across, when we're looking for, uh, you know, certain resumes, again, certain engineers that come in, so biochemistry, uh, all that, math, science, all that comes in there, but it kind of varies on depending on which positions that we're looking for.
You've touched on it a little bit, but just in terms of the students taking classes and things they're doing as being relatable, but could you speak to the relationship that you and that Cubert have with Laney College?
Yeah. So, uh, you guys were on the call, or we were live with Ryan earlier. But the first time we ever kind of built that partnership since I started at Cubert was with Raya. There was a college career fair here. She asked us to come out to that, and my director of people, Eric Roth, him and I came out, and we came and we sold we sold the company to all the students that came across our table. We even one of my defensive coordinator when I was playing here, Johnny Williams. He's teaching now computer science here. He asked, he saw me out here, at the college career fair, and he asked Eric and I, can we come to the class and kind of talk more about the company and what we're doing. So we did that, but what we want to do is keep coming out to more college career fairs. We want to offer apprentice programs, internships, even as well. During the summer, but that's what we want to do. Laney's it's played a big role in my life. It's helped build the foundation of where I'm at right now, and it's got me to one of the most innovative companies in the world. So
That's
I definitely
outstanding.
want to give back here to Laney and the community.
No,
So
I look forward to chatting with you a little later in the show just about your time at Laney and as well as
sure.
other things you did in college.
Yeah.
But want to go ahead and ask what it is right now that you're finding most rewarding about your job as a recruiter.
Yeah, that's a good question. There's a lot of rewarding things of being a recruiter, and especially at Cubert, at a startup. I think one is helping find the good talent that they're such a niche industry, the battery space, but helping finding the talent that our hiring managers are looking for to help build this company. I think that's one of the things, and then also just contributing to the company's growth. Building the company. Again, we're a small startup, but we're on the rise and we're growing. So I think having that, and then also just helping people advance. Helping individuals advance their skills and the career growth and what they want to do, especially in this battery space. I think those are the most rewarding things for me.
When I think battery space,
Yep.
I'm thinking that the workers will be in these futuristic sort of hazmat spacesuit looking outfits. What
Could we get those for the president's desk
right.
for this show? Could
We definitely
we
need
don't need
that.
not that we need it, but I just think it would look pretty cool.
Right.
The hazmat edition of the president's desk right
Right.
here on 96.9 KGPC.
And so yeah, no, our labs, I don't spend too much time in our labs, but our engineers, our scientists, when they're going into certain lab rooms, they definitely put those PPEs. That's what they call the PPEs. And again, those that's what you see on the movies, the scrubs, the masks, the big suit, the lab coats, even the little scrub they take care of your, the shoes all the way from the top down. And so, again, I've tried it on, but me being a big person, they gotta specialize to find a bigger size for me. But again, I don't spend too much time there, but we definitely have those here for all of our workers that work inside the labs.
If you're not wearing the hazmat suit or you're not a recruiter, what are some other careers within Cubert that are available to people?
So yeah, we have people operations from like strategy analysts roles, positions, even leadership roles that managers, that manages, different projects, project manager roles. But again, it's just like any company, it's not. I know we're a battery space or battery company, so people may be thinking these are just engineers and scientists, but
No.
it takes a lot, to run a company. So strategy managers, all across the board, recruiters, list goes on.
All right. You dropped a word that when we've had other people from industry come on the show, we've
Yep.
talked about, and that's project management.
Yep.
When you're looking for people with that qualification, what is it you often hear, or what experience do people often have that makes you say, oh, as a project manager, this is a good fit for our company?
Yeah, so I know. So, you know, to answer this question, so we have three recruiters on our team, and we're kind of specializing in certain orgs. So I'm kind of tackling the R&D, research and development and technologies. But then we have one of our recruiters that's kind of taking care of all those, project manager, strategy analyst positions, and so forth, and business operation roles. But anything when especially when it comes to project manager, it's communication. I think it's one big thing that we're looking for, but also just experience is one thing too. I think it's the most important thing. So if they have that on their resume, then our recruiting process, how it works, we do a 1 hour panel presentation when they come in, so they have to talk up on relevant project that they've done in the past, that's relevant to the role, and they need to communicate that in front of a few panel members. So if they're a project manager, they're going to have to talk about a project that they've worked on that's related to the role, and then if their communication gets across to the team, then they'll kind of figure out if this person is suitable or not. But I know communication, it's one thing that's very important for that position. But again, just to reiterate, we have certain recruiters for certain roles, and I know project management is not in my field. So,
But you'd be surprised how often when we've had guests on and we ask about what they're looking for, the word communication skills, that term comes
Huge.
up time and
Right.
time again. But what I'm also hearing from you is, and I think this one would go across fields, if that opportunity for an internship is out there, take it.
yes,
That's what I'm hearing, because
definitely.
experience at the end of the day does have a lot of capital.
Definitely, experience rules. It's someone may come in and they may have all these, you know, fancy words on there, but if they don't have the experience, that's related to the position, that it can only take you so far. We're looking for folks that's actually done the job, and it has all those skills, but experience definitely will take you a long way.
So do you have opportunities for internships at Cubert?
We have internships. And again, our website is up at cubert.net. You'll go to the careers page, and then you'll see all the internships. Again, interns for scientists, engineers, even our business ops. But we have all those internships available online at cubert.net.
Do you think that that's the recommended route? Particularly somebody who's trying to break in, would that be the recommended route they should take?
I think
Is
that's
through internships?
internships for sure. If they're trying to break into the space, I think getting your feet in the door, especially if you have no experience in the battery space, I think it's again, it's getting that experience, firsthand. And we have college students that intern programs. We're partnered up with other universities where their kids are coming in and they're learning about the space. And so I think that's definitely the best route to kind of go is getting your foot in the door with the intern.
Felicia, speaking of interns, big shout out to Eric, who's helping us on the board today. He's doing a great job.
Absolutely.
But-
Yes.
Okay, so Joe, I need to ask you. So I've talked about the benefits, the challenges, what you love about your job.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges? What keeps you awake at night?
Ooh, yeah, there's a lot of things. First, I said it's such a niche, market. It's a small market, especially the battery space, and it's the fastest growing industry, I believe, right now. And so, the competition is huge, and I'm sure a lot of recruiters could vouch for that. What in whatever industry, it's a war for talent. So some there may be a candidate that's out there that one of our competitors are is already speaking to, and so that's kind of one of our challenges is trying to find the top talent and bring them on board. But for me personally, I think it's when you find a top talent, you kind of take them through the whole recruiting process, and we send out an offer letter, right? We have like a certain duration of when the offer letter expires, and sometimes the hiring manager is just like this, we need this person no matter
A
what,
little bit of nervous time
right?
there.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's exciting. It's definitely a challenge. It keeps me awake at night sometimes where I'm like, we need this candidate, but that's for me, that's kind of one of the most fun, exciting thing about it. It's again, who could win the war for these
Got
top
it. And
talent.
you know what? I know Felicia's got a burning question for you, but before she asks, so we'll remind our listeners that you're listening to the President's Desk, heard right here on 96.9 FM in Oakland, KGPC, and at kgpc969.org.
So the burning question that I had is that, like you said, that you're trying to maybe coax somebody from your competitors or at least set yourself apart from the competitor. What do you say that makes you unique and what makes Cubert the company to go to?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. And I think it's just being, straightforward and honest and selling Cubert, where what we're doing, we're kind of shaking the industry a little bit, with our advanced technology, with lithium metal batteries. Not a lot of people are doing what we're doing and using the advanced technologies that we have with the lithium metal, and especially primarily focusing on aviation. When I tell that to people, they're so wild and all. It's like, oh wow, you guys make batteries for electric aircraft, and so selling that, but also just touching up on the culture that we have at Cuba. It's not all technical. That when we're recruiting, and so I think again, being a recruiter is being relatable and having those genuine conversations with them.
So,
So
so what kind of culture? What is the culture?
again, like I said before, the culture is, we want people that's humble, that's hardworking, that come in with their head down, no excuses, and they know what they need to do. They come in and they just work. But again, it's such a tight knit group, at Cubert where everyone knows each other. We don't just not you know work as a group, but I know we do things outside of the workspace, and people's build relationship. People's become best friends. At Cubic. So again, those are certain things that I talk to the candidates about. Is again, recruit for culture first. We look for humble, hardworking people and kind people. If you have that, everything else will take care of itself. The technical life. So that
Cubert truly sounds like an amazing company and a great partner for Laney College. Joe, can you stay for the second part of our show? I got to take care of a little business here, but want to bring you back because I want to talk to you a little bit about your time at Laney and also as a college student and a few other good questions that I've got waiting in the wings. And I know Felicia always has them as well. So anyway, listeners, as we transition at this point in the show, I would like to remind you that Laney College continues to provide one-time support scholarships for students who face unforeseen financial difficulties or emergencies that impact their ability to attend school. First, if you are a student in the middle of the semester who's suddenly started to face a difficulty, please reach out and contact Arlene Lontock in my office at 510-464-3219 or email her at alontoc@peralta.edu so that we can see if we can help you with a one-time scholarship. Also, to our employees and community members, just a reminder that all charitable gifts to Laney College, whether it's the President's Emergency Scholarship Fund or something else you're interested in, all of those donations are appreciated and they're tax deductible as they are processed through our Peralta College's Foundation office, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. To donate, please call us at 510-464-3219. Or you know what? Often when it comes to making a gift, you want more information. It's something it's personal to you. And maybe you have questions about Laney, or maybe you have questions about your gift. I invite you to reach out personally to me and just to get information about Laney and have any of your questions answered. I can be reached at 510-464-3236. Or you can email me at rbesikof. Also, a reminder to our employees, it is possible to make donations every month through monthly payroll deduction. And if you have any questions about that as well, please feel free to reach out to Arlene. The effort's been amazing, Felicia. We have actually surpassed $50,000 in available scholarships through my office each year.
Shows how much
And
people care.
and the base of that, although we've had some great external folks give, it's been our employees who
Yeah.
really keep this thing going.
Yeah.
And it's been great. And just one more quick plug, students and listeners, if you wanted to sign up for a class at Laney College but didn't get it, and you're like, wow, I've got to wait till January. Well, guess what? You don't. We have late starting classes that begin October 16th. They are typically 8-week classes, and you can be done by December. And most of them are actually online, and you can take the classes at kind of at your speed, given that they're asynchronous. So anyway, all that information, any questions you have, reach out to me by all means. So anyway, as we return to the show, we do have a former Laney student here, a Laney alum, Soar Eagles. And Joe Fotu, you attended Laney and you were a student athlete. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, no. Shout out to the Nest. That's what we called it here when I was attending Laney in 2013 and 14. Played football here.
What position?
I played defensive end. I was a defensive end. I try to go tight end, but
I believe it.
I play defensive end, but I try to go for tight end. But John Beam, our head coach, still our head coach, and I believe athletic director right now, wouldn't allow me to go on the other side of the ball. So he just wanted me to go and chase the quarterback. But my time here at Laney, it really has been very special. It kind of set the foundation for me when I transferred out of here to Illinois, the school out there. But it kind of set the foundation as far as showing up every day to class on time, sitting up. Those are some of the things I learned from Beam. Sitting up in front of the class, being on time for your workouts, things like that. But again, the time that I had here at Laney was very special for sure.
So you have a unique perspective because you are someone who was a community college student athlete and then a 4-year college student athlete, continuing your playing career at the University of Illinois. What's the difference between life as a student athlete in those two settings? And how are they the same?
Sure. Good question. I think there's a big difference, when it comes to the facilities, the school itself it's a lot more students, but as far as the education, I know we had professors that were part-time professors from like Cal Berkeley, so our education it's always been good here at Lady. But I think
That's great to hear.
yeah, it's always been great, and I've learned so much, and the same thing for Illinois, great professors there, but I think it's the biggest difference is just the amount of students that's on campus. There's a lot of things moving on or moving, but for a student athlete, again, it goes to talking about the facilities. Our football facility at Laney, I think when we first when I was playing here, I think that's when we just built the new facility there. So it was like the top of the top of the art facility at the time. We were flexing our stadium to like Chabot and all the other junior colleges in the Bay Area, to our friends that were playing at other colleges. But again, I think it's just it's just a bigger campus. A little bit nicer facilities, or nicer facilities for sure. But I think if you're talking about education, for sure, you got the education here at Laney. So just the same as at Illinois.
But if you were, let's say that there's somebody who's finishing up at Laney College and about to transfer out of state, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I think advice I would give is kind of look into the geographic part. It's one thing, it's because coming from the Bay Area and going out to little Champaign, Illinois, in the middle of the cornfields, that kind of was a big shock for me. Coming from the city and then just being, again, like I said, being out there with in the country and introduced to the snow, and I'm talking about cold snow. It was
Right.
very different. So, looking out, looking into the geographic, like, do you want to make the move? Because you could go out there and want to go to school there, and then you get there for like the first week or two, and then you get homesick, and then some I know folks who's done that and come back to the Bay Area. So I think definitely looking into that. But if it's something that you really if there's a program at a school that you want to transfer out, from community college to it, and you're really interested in that, go ahead and take it. Take that opportunity and go out and spread your wings and that also helps you kind of grow and I know it's helped me grow a lot, but I know the geographic location is definitely very important when looking to transfer out from a
So Champaign-Urbana is kind of a rural community with a university put inside it.
definitely. Yep.
Oh.
So we're about hour and 45 or about 2 hours from Chicago, central Illinois, and that's you're literally in the middle. Like when you're driving from Chicago to Champaign, you're just driving through cornfields. And again, growing up here in the Bay Area in the city, it's so different, but um, definitely rural over there.
So you're saying you have to be able to adapt, right?
Gotta adapt. That's huge, and that's the thing. Again, like I tell my younger brothers and some of my friends who are playing college ball here and wanting to go out, that has offers for like Oklahoma, other places in the country. It's being able to adapt to those the culture, the weather, all that. So it's definitely a big challenge for sure.
And what about academics?
I could I'll be completely honest. Like when I left Laney, it wasn't hard for me, at Champaign.
Wasn't a big
It
transition.
wasn't a
Okay.
big transition, I mean, you're in a classroom with bigger, bigger class students. I mean, students in the classroom. And again, as an Division One athlete, you really don't have no excuse of failing anything. You have all the resources. You have tutors. You have all the mentors, you have all the help, free books, you have everything, and so you really shouldn't have no excuse of failing in class. And if you are failing school, you're really just not doing anything. But I think academically, I don't think it was really a challenge at all.
All right. In the spirit of being a student, I think I did some homework about you before the interview, and your major here was African American Studies. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yep.
And then your bachelor's was in
RST, Recreation, Sport, and Tourism. Sports management was the focus, and I thought I wanted to be around sports all my life after I finished playing football. But things don't always go as planned.
So if students change their major, it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, definitely.
All right.
It's definitely okay. It's again, coming from Laney, Afro studies to RST, sports management, and then I got my master's in higher education. So it's a lot of change, happening there. So again, it's okay to change, and again, just adapting to a new environment, new studies. But it's that's where I started at.
All right. Well, Felicia knows I'm never short on 1980s references. And so I want to put you inside the DeLorean that goes back in time, right? Back to the future. And you get to go back and see Joe as a freshman at Laney College. Any advice you would give yourself as an incoming freshman now that you're older and wiser, so to speak?
Okay. That's a good question. I think I also go back in time and tell Joe or give Joe an advice. I think it's just keep doing your best. And I know when I was young, I was always I had friends that were going to college out of straight out of high school, and I always thought that, that was supposed to be, that's how it was supposed to be. Is go straight out of high school, but and I was always in my head a lot. And I think if I was to go back, I would tell me, like, don't be in your head so much. Just this is the cards you were dealt with, and take it. And so I think I would have been able to perform a lot better on the field if I wasn't just always thinking about my friends who were leaving, going out of high school straight to 4-year university or colleges, things like that. So I think I would just tell myself, just worry about yourself, stay in your lane, and keep pushing forward. So, yeah.
Excellent. Joe, got to ask you this, and I do host a show called Eagle Eye on Sports, and I'm going to go that direction for a second. What do you think of college football right now? There've been a lot of changes. Lots been happening. Also, health and safety's kind of drawn a new level of attention, especially relative to concussions. What do you think about that? The landscape of college football right now?
I think the game's changed. Not just this past year, but I think past like 4 or 5, really decade. The game is evolving and changing. Like you said, that with the health and safety of players. But one thing that I know the talk is right now is about the whole Pac-12. I'm just not.
The what? Does that even exist still?
Right, right. And
Right.
I can't believe such a prestigious conference like that. Even though I belong to the Big Ten, I'm a Big Ten guy. But to growing up watching Cal, Berkeley, USC, UCLA, and all those schools, to see a school like that, dissemble and dissolve is just kind of mind blowing. And it's kind of sad to see all these teams break and really that conference. But again, I think there's a lot going on, and I'm not sure why that is, but I think having all these, the best teams play against, the best competition, and again, it's just that's way out of my league. But I, that's where I'm at right now with what's going on in college football. It's just
All right.
a lot
In
going
in
on
the
there.
Big Ten, though, which was the conference you played in,
Yep.
uh, who's somebody you played against that our listeners would know about, and maybe a matchup that was memorable for you, not necessarily the guard or tackle across from you, but
Right.
even just who's the greatest player you played against in college?
There's a list. The list could go on. Joey Bosa, Nick coached against Nick Bosa when I was doing my
Really?
GA, my graduate assistant coach. Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott, Braxton Miller. Um, the list. I mean, the list could go on. George Kittle, we played against him. Um, I mean, it's a it's a lot. Yeah, doing my 14, 15 year. At Big Ten, we played against a lot. Ryan Shazier played against Ryan
Okay.
Shazier. We're playing against some of the best players there for sure. But those are just
Well,
some
I
of the
noticed
names.
in that list of people, you had one running back you mentioned, that was Saquon Barkley. What set him apart from other running backs?
As a freshman, I mean, his legs are like when people talk about they're as big as a tree trunk, and,
So
and
Earl Campbell, big.
Okay.
like
Oh,
Earl,
he had thunder thighs.
but he's not as big, as
Okay.
tall as Earl Campbell, but he's just such an elusive kid. Athlete, so fast and so much power generating when he runs. And I remember he scored, I believe, two touchdowns. He jumped over one of our safeties into the end zone, like literally cleared him, and our safety was about like 6 feet, and he's Saquon's like 5'11", 5'10", and he's clearing folks as a freshman. And I'm just like, everyone knew, going into that game, was like, this is the guy we got to watch. And sure enough, he came out and executed everything that we thought
All right.
he was gonna do.
So Joe, you're a recruiter. I'm gonna change your duties here, or change your geography a little bit. Let's say that you're a recruiter for the University of Illinois.
Yep.
What is the number one selling point you would give to a potential recruit, or even just a prospective student about studying Champaign-Urbana?
For sure. I mean, if you guys look it up, Illinois is one of the top. It's one of the top public universities academically, in the country. But not just that, again, I had the opportunity to be a graduate assistant coach under Lovie Smith for 3 seasons. After I finished playing, so part of my job as a GA is recruiting. So when players came on campus, I was the one that's doing tour guides and talking about certain buildings, for certain majors, and touching up on where players hang out. But one thing I would tell about the University of Illinois is first is the staff. Lovey staff coming in, getting that exposure from NFL guys who knows. It's all about who you know nowadays, and Lovey being a household name in the NFL, and having all those connections. It's about who you know. So that was one thing I sold to the athletes. It's like, you'll be able to play for someone like Lovey Smith, and if you do well, Lovey Smith will go to bat for you. And share your profile with coaches in the NFL, and and if you do well, you'll have an opportunity. So
Yeah, and for listeners, Lovie Smith actually was a head coach in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Which is amazing.
I want to stay on football, but tie it into what you're doing now. What it what are what as a recruiter, that football inform what you do now? There you go. How does
That's a
football
great question.
inform what you do now?
for sure. I I think football for sure has played a big role. I think, being a leader on certain teams, as when I was in high school, I was one of the leaders. Here at junior college, Laney, I was one of the leaders. And I think just having that leadership, mentality, could definitely transition into being a recruiter. The communication skills, speaking with your players, speaking with your team, and your pods. And I think that transitioned into the recruiting world a little bit, and or a lot actually. And then also, instead of recruiting for high school athletes when I was at Illinois, now, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Now I'm just recruiting for a different audience, right? I'm recruiting for software engineers and scientists, but it's kind of the same game. You're selling, instead of selling the school at University of Illinois and the program, the football program. Now you're selling Cubert, and you're selling our product. You're
Sure.
selling the hiring managers, the team, and things, and the culture there. So, but I think football definitely has played a big role in my transition from recruiting in the football space to recruiting in the corporate world.
Thank you so much for sharing just your experience as a student and as a former student athlete. I think that's a lot of what you've shared. Hopefully, our listeners can, especially our students, can take a little bit with them as they go along in their day. And I really would like to keep the focus not on things students can take with them. And I'd like to just devote the last 7 or 8 minutes of our show to advice for going into a job interview or applying for a job, and kind of put you in that coaching role, if you will. I guess the first thing, and we talked about the skill sets, and you mentioned communication skills, and then also picking up experience wherever you can, as kind of the two things that are pillars, if you will. But is there a $1 million question in an interview that you think any candidate should be ready to answer?
Is there $1 million question that any kid? Yes. I don't think there's one, but I think there's definitely a question where, if I'm talking to a candidate, you know, it's more so kind of a question that they're going to have to elaborate on. But it's just, tell me a little bit about your experience. Um,
Tell your story.
tell your story. And then once when they tell their story, as a recruiter, you're able to kind of get a good sense and a good assessment of who they are as a person culturally, and technically from their when they're sharing their experience. But I think that's kind of the main thing is just tell me a little bit about yourself, tell me your story, and then once they share all that information, as a recruiter, you'll get a better feel for who this candidate is, and what they're really interested in looking for.
Okay. Thank you. Let me ask you this though. And because for me, what changed my life and brought me to community college was a job fair. That really was it. I met my future department chair
Wow.
at the LAX airport. I think there's a Hilton or Marriott there. They had a job fair for community colleges. I met him, and I that changed my life.
Wow.
I mean, it really did. I became a Long Beach City College employee because of that day.
Beautiful.
But for a lot of people, they think they get ready to go to a job fair. What do I wear? What do I say? What do I bring?
Right.
Any good rules of thumb there,
I think
especially as someone who tables at job fair?
Yep, for sure. And I was very surprised and shocked, when I came here for the college career for here at Laney with Eric, how, and I believe there were some high school students here, but really everyone had a resume on them, and I remember when I was coming up, I wouldn't have thought to have my resume on file and have multiple copies here ready to just share with each table here at the college career fair. But I think having a resume ready, and then like you said, having like we talked about earlier, is having your pitch ready, to go with and share that with whoever's at the table, and I think that those are the two most important things. You don't need to come out in a suit or tie. I mean, kudos to you if you do come in a suit and tie, and you're there. That's beautiful. But again, we like to hear more of your experience, your story, and then a resume is always good. So we get we can take that back, and if it's a memorable conversation, we'll know exactly who that was, and we'll have the information on the resume to reach out to. Those are some of the things I would give an advice to someone coming to a college career fair.
What about when it comes to searching for a job?
Mm.
Any advice you'd give there? Just
Sure.
as someone starts looking, I mean, of course there's Indeed, but
Yep. I think one of the big platforms that we use as recruiters is LinkedIn. I think anyone that's looking for a job, I think they should have a LinkedIn account. That's one of my advices. Have a LinkedIn account. That way, you can network. But I think also, that word network is very important. It's in this world, it's a lot about who you know nowadays. It's not really necessarily what you know. Of course, that plays a big part, but if you have connections and you're out, going to these college career fairs and you network with someone, and they know someone that they may pass your resume over. But I think if someone's it's online just looking for, I think having a LinkedIn account is very important to me, in my opinion. But also, just doing your research. Looking up for something that you really want to do. If you want to be a recruiter, if you want to be a scientist, you want to be an engineer. Go on Google, go and search. What roles are out there, and if you see something, just apply. Apply to as many positions that you want. But I think those
You never know.
Yep, you never know. Someone will give you that opportunity, but you miss every shot that you don't take, right? And so I think that's one of the most important things is being active. If you really want to get your name out there, you want to get your resume. It's just be proactive and apply.
What about the other pieces of job searching, where maybe you see people that took a step for granted or a misstep? And the one that comes to mind for me is just submitting an application, for example. Any advice on a piece like that, and what you might tell somebody who's brand new to applying for jobs?
I yeah, I think a lot of people they think submitting their application onto a website that no one's gonna see their application come in. I think that's the biggest false the biggest myth there. When those application comes in, we get notified. Recruiters get notified. I can't speak for other companies, but we get notified with all the applications that come in, and and we're looking through those. It kind of saves us our job, of us, sourcing and actually going out to find, if there's someone that's really good that's in our backyard here at the Bay Area and they submit their application, that's going to eliminate us, going out and trying to find, those key. Who knows? We may find the right person here, right in our backyard that submitted. So again,
So you're saying listing something as simple as an address, making sure you get it on there,
yes,
just because that says, okay, this person's in San Leandro,
Yep.
we could go get them now. They're in Alameda, they're in Oakland.
for sure.
Wow.
Yep.
Something that's
We want to find talent here in our backyard. That's our first resort. We wanna do at Cubert, at least at Cubert for sure.
so. In closing, Joe, if people want to reach out, learn more about Cubert or get in touch with you, what's the best way to do so?
Yep. We have our website up at cubert.net. We submit if you want to get in touch with me. My email's at joe, so joe.fotu, joe.fotu at cubert.net. Send me a resume, send me a quick little pitch about what you're looking for, what you're looking to get into, in the battery space, or just in the corporate world. I'll be able to sync up with you and talk there. But again, that's my communication platform. There's the joe.fotu at cubert.net.
Well, Joe, as the president of Laney College, I want to congratulate you just on your career and all the success that you've had as a student athlete and now a graduate and now someone in the workforce. But also thank you for your partnership and Cubert's partnership with Laney College, and the opportunities that you're providing for the students of tomorrow. And absolutely would love to have you back sometime.
Awesome. Thank you, Rudy. Thank you, Felicia. Thank you guys for having me, and looking
Absolutely.
forward to the future for sure.
Excellent.
Awesome.
So, listeners, as we wrap up another edition of the President's Desk, we want to thank our Peralta TV audience as well and our listeners up and down the great state of California, from as far north in the 717 and the 530, all the way down to SoCal. Big shout out in the 619, as well as our listeners right here in the 510, tuning in each week from Lake Merritt, Oakland, Chinatown, downtown Oakland, West Oakland, East Lake, Fruitvale, Diamond, North Oakland, Adams Point, Central Oakland, East Oakland, the Oakland Hills, Montclair, Piedmont, and of course, all those great Laney students and colleagues listening to us on campus today. Felicia, as we close up shop at the President's Desk, straighten up the chairs and turn the light off on today's program. Great job as always, and please take us home.
Sure. Shout out to Laney football and shout out to Cubert. And thank you, Joe, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to the President's Desk, a program available on radio, television, and podcast, hosted by Laney College President, Dr. Rudy Besikoff. It airs each Wednesday at 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. on 96.9 KGPC, and viewers can watch the show in its entirety on Peralta TV Sundays at 1 to 2 p.m. To listen anytime, find us on kgpc969.org/programming /current shows and click on the President's Desk or find the show directly at kgpc969.org /the President's Desk. Also, to stream the video of the show, go to YouTube and subscribe to Laney College President's Desk. If you have a suggestion for a future show, please email us at laneypio@peralta.edu.